Oh hey, it's me, still alive, 1 year later. Been a little bit distracted with other cars, so hopefully when I get back to this thing, I can show you what I've been doing and maybe finally give it a wash. Not this episode, because I haven't finished putting it back together, but I'll show you what I have been doing, and then hopefully in the next few episodes we might actually get to drive the thing. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, if you don't know what this thing is, it is a 1983 Toyota Corolla Sprinter, which I guess if you're into cars, you probably know what this thing is. But if you don't, it's just a very expensive, usually rusty Corolla. Mine has been in restoration for the past 7 years. You know, you can't rush these things. And it's near completion. It has a V6 out of a Nissan 350Z, so 3.5 litre, 260 horsepower. Why would I have one of those? Because 4AGEs are too slow, too expensive, and these days too hard to find. So you get what you get. So it's all custom mounts and radiator and airbox, you know, all the goods. Different master cylinder. It has the full Nissan fuse box and wiring and everything inside it. It's all brand new lights and grille and indicators from Floris and Ireland. The whole front setup, genuine, and then a little bit of China there, but we won't worry about that. It's some sort of Ford Blue that the car came in originally, but it was fully rusty. So I repainted it, did all the bodywork myself. Like I mentioned, 7 years later, yada yada yada. Far from good. Don't go too close, but I'm not an automotive spray painter, so. It has a ducktail spoiler on it, red line taillights, 3-inch stainless exhaust system on it. It's all painted underneath, or mostly. Saves you getting your face covered in dirt each time you get out of the car, which is always a nice thing. Using Buddy Club 90s, Buddy Club P1s in a 15-inch rim, nice and small, and Nankang AR1 semi-slicks. Not too good in the water, I don't think, but this thing won't get driven in water that much, so. Excuse the paint, it'll get worn off. These are just Japanese JDM calipers and disc brakes on a bigger F-Series diff, and just new springs and struts and everything else. Sorry if I'm blazing through this quickly, but I've had this car for so long, nothing seems quite interesting to me for this thing. I've just been staring at it for so long, I just want to get it finished. Full interior, some China bucket seats, new carpet, all the interior's been done in black. It was all together, had to pull it apart because I had an issue with my wiring. Because, you know, I did the wiring and I had problems with it, but about to throw it back together, which is cool. And, yeah. So what we're going to do, this is basically finished in here. It's going to get a tune. It's running a little rich at the moment, but I just finished putting some longer wheel studs on because the original ones were too short, and we'll fix that up and go to the next step. These are just, I have a pair of these SSR mesh rims I bought off Yahoo Auctions a few years ago. They're just my skid rims. They are on this side on the front at the moment because I haven't bought 2 more semi-slicks because I don't want them sitting around in the garage too long because they'll get all hard and yuck. So skid rims are just on this side just to match, just so I can roll the car around in the garage and whatnot. What I have to do though is I have to pull this axle out again because I didn't put one of the studs in properly and it's a little crooked, probably can't tell. So I got to pull the axle out again, chuck it on the press, make it seat properly in the back of the hub, throw it back together. Ugh. Don't you just love doing things twice or 3 times because you're a dope and you don't do it right the first time? You'd think after working on this thing for so long, I would learn not to do that, but apparently not. So, you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna take this caliper off so I can take the disc off, so I can slide the axle out. Hopefully no oil comes out of the diff housing because I haven't put the diff on an angle. Should probably change that. Yes, I'm just hanging it by the brake line. I don't care. 4 bolts, hold it in, slides out. There's no sew clip in the center. They're pretty basic diffs. Same as what you'd have in a first gen Celica Supra. So 7.5 inch diff pinion. It has a Lexus IS200 helical or torsion LSD center in it. It's just cheap. It was like $300 for the center. It's either that or it's $1,200 or $1,300 for a clutch type Kaz. So nope. Yes, I did tilt the axle before off camera. Don't worry. You won't be worried, but at least it shouldn't make a mess. I've also got to make another sort of muffler for this thing because I have had it running and it is obnoxiously loud. Like it has a resonator and a proper chambered muffler at the back, but it's still not good. This is not a race car. This is a full street car. It's going to have aircon and everything. So, yeah, it's going to need a little bit of shush up. Get out. Get the right tools there. Get the right tool. That's the right tool, isn't it? Could be so worried, could be so careful about donking the paint now because I'm a little bit stupid with these things, so got to keep in mind not to whack the paintwork. I do have a slide hammer, so I'm gonna... Yes, I made that. Diff oil. Yummy. Drip, 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 drip. Diff oil. Like it's new. Even when it's new, this stuff stinks. I think it's got something to do with some phosphorus or some chemical they put in it to make it last long or deal with the extremities of its job. Yeah, this cloth is, it's very nice. It's very pink. It's also not doing its job very well. Those bag of rags that you get from the shop sometimes have just got terrible rags in them. Like it just sort of smears the oil, doesn't really soak it up. Speaking of many distractions, that was another distraction. I kind of built a car trailer. You know, would have been interesting to film. Well, not really. It was just cutting and welding and meh. Car trailer. Ta-da! Fingers. Now I have to remember which one was actually... Nope. Kind of obvious. That one. Jeez, who put that one in? What a dope. You ever wonder why we didn't get 3 hands? It'd be really handy sometimes. 5 hours later. There we go. That looks a bit straighter. This thing always sounds like it's complaining when you use it. Don't do that. You don't love me. Is that one crooked? Yes. This was the first side I did, and I was trying to do it on the car, just with the nut and everything, like people do, but it wasn't working too well, so I had to switch to this one, because you know, why have a price if you don't use it? Okay, back in we go. This part's always fun. Precision engineering. Why you don't line up? Damn it. Hooray! Oh, fingers don't twist like that. My goodness. Is this your first day? And a few ugga-duggers. It's getting a bit flat, I think. Ew. Put the rotor on, Seth. Actually lied. These are not A86 rear rotors. These are Celica MA45 Celica Super rear rotors. The reason I chose them was the center hole suits the F-Series diff. A86 discs have a different center hole. I think it was 4 years ago I did it. And I didn't have a lathe at that point either. Now I have a lathe. I could have just bought A86 rear discs and machined it, but whatever. And why didn't I just get upgraded axles for 86 housing? Well, for a start, I didn't have 86 housing. I had an S series because this is a SR5, I think the Americans call them. So they had the Povo diff in them. Typical Australia, always getting the Povo spec models. Carbureted 4AC, crappy diff with no LSD. Thanks, Australia. Ah, look, painted calipers are all more oily and dirty again. Nope. It's not lefty-loosey when the bolt's on the back. Lefty-tighty. Ah, that's right, I've got to flare the guard a bit too. Not the outside, the inside lip, which I've already made smaller. Still touches with the Dangtang semi-slicks. There are 205 on the back. And I want like a flush fit, like 90s touring style. I don't mind stretch tires and rims, but it's a bit of cop bait. And if you know that living in Australia, if your car has so much as shiny lights on it, Mr. Policeman is going to pull you over and treat you like you've just killed a small child. So, you have to be a little bit more discreet over here if you don't want issues. Anyway, that's done. And I won't bother cleaning that up because I'll probably get dirty again anyway. So we'll probably have to try and roll the guard while it's up in the air. Well, on that note, I am officially chickening out on doing that. I went a little bit further, but I started hearing noises because this flare is not 100% metal. So if I push it too far, I'm going to start seeing cracks along here. So it's obviously going to hit over a bump, but I'm just probably going to have to possibly switch down to 195. So I said these are 205s. I'm running 195s on the front. I really wanted that square look to run down the side of the car. But if I have to, I'll just switch to 195s, which means more money, more time, yada, yada, yada. What are you going to do? So for now, I'm just going to abandon that, leave it as it is, And I've got to, while this is off, drill a hole near this tip. I'm going to put a funny spiral muffler thing. I'll show you. A spirally muffler, what do you say? This weird contraption. So this is going to be an insert into the back of the muffler. So this is like it's a 3-inch tip on it. So that would sit inside the whole rear muffler section. It would sit flush with the tip. And what it does is, it's kind of like an extra baffled setup. Once you spill these across, and I'll weld them in. So about a third of the exhaust gas can pass straight through as normal, but the rest has to run along through and past the spirals like this, like a corkscrew. And hopefully that'll baffle it up a little bit more, because at the moment it's a little bit too noisy. And this will be removable. So if it doesn't work or I change the setup, I can easily pull it out. And also see on the dyno what difference that makes as well. But we'll try and smash this out instead of doing the flares, because I'm avoiding that at the moment. Alright, see if we can put some hot glue on this stuff without using filler rod, which I'm not too good at. Oh well. Oh yes, lovely. That's what happens when you don't clean your metal. Why you no arc? Fix the problem. Turn the wrong gas bottle on. Stupido! Stupido! Ah. I am by no means a welding person. Filler rod's too thick. Amperage is probably okay. Not clean enough. Yada yada yada. Don't care. Won't see it. So we skipped the, what would you say, important stuff, because it looked terrible when it was not installed. So I just put it in and painted it black. So once that all sorts up inside, it'll look a bit more discreet. Hopefully this might make it quieter. I might have to put a grub screw in there to keep it in there, but I sort of had to use the hammer to install it anyway. So hopefully it'll stay there and make it a bit quiet. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Still a little too loud. And needs a tune as well, I think.